So good morning, everyone. So for those of you who may be new, so I'm Khalid, and I work with the elementary-aged children in the morning, and we have been discussing what would it look like if you met Jesus. And so we've been, every Christmas and Easter, when we put together our production, the kids really start with some essential question that they drive, and then we have discussion around that. Like what would it look like? Well, how would you recognize him? How would you know if you ran into Jesus? And we began to discuss people who ran into Jesus when they were just going about their regular, everyday lives. And we began to focus on the centurions. So we had a lot of discussion, we watched a couple of movies, we learned about the centurions and the Roman army, etc. But these were folks who were not from Jerusalem. They were there because they were on assignment. They were there working. And Jesus had not come for them. He was there for the Jews, and they were completely outside of this church, this temple, this thing. Yet they witnessed things in their everyday going that changed the way that they thought. There were things that they couldn't explain. There were things that they saw. And so the question was, what was it like to be a centurion, to have witnessed those that walked with and to have seen Jesus, and how would that change you? And so we put together this three-part monologue of three different perspectives of centurions who had seen those and been there as Jesus walked. And so I present to you guys three centurions. Wait. Yeah. All right.
It's quiet today in Jerusalem. The Passover is here, but there's a buzz. There's been a lot of talk about this man Jesus. All of us soldiers are here getting overtime on a holiday because everyone thinks Mr. Social Justice Man might just show up. I saw him once. Everywhere this guy goes, crowds follow him. It's a public nuisance, and it's all his fault. I'm telling you, folks came from everywhere and packed in like sheep. Now, some of them, I assume, are good people, but these other cities aren't sending their best, if you know what I'm saying. Shepherds, fishmongers, beggars, and they're all sick. Unclean heaps of crazies, the lame and lepers with coughs and infections. They all come out for this free Jesus care. He heals a couple of them, teaches a little, only brings enough food for him and his gang. And then, poof, he takes off. So who was left to clean it all up? You guessed it. There were fish bones and breadcrumbs everywhere. But that wasn't the worst of it. You try to break up a crowd of 5,000 sickos without ending up sick and smelling like sheep. I do know one guy I work with. He swears Jesus healed his servant just by saying the word. Didn't see her, touch her, nothing. Just said, she's healed. And that was it. So that made me think, this guy's really powerful. But then I thought, then why does he have to attract all these crowds if he can just speak and people are healed? Someone likes attention. A classic Messiah complex, if you ask me. What is going on? Here comes Jesus riding on a donkey. There was a crowd. It's a riot. They're tearing up the city, breaking off palm leaves. What is this they are shouting? The whole city's in an uproar. Jesus just made my job very hard. He might be a great guy, but he just might have to be stopped one day.
What is all this? All this sadness and mourning. They are criminals, the three of them. The one in the middle was even accused by his very own people. In the end, he stood alone, and his thousands of supporters were nowhere to be found. He must be guilty. All those people can't be wrong. Besides, the law is the law. Roman law is what separates the good people of the Republic from the barbarians. The law said this man should die. But who is this carpenter? I saw with my own eyes the sky suddenly get dark when he breathed his last. Nature does not mourn for ordinary men. Who is this Jesus of Nazareth? I was just following orders. My household needs food and a roof over their head, and my job is to enforce the law. But no man has ever prayed for me. Pray to his God to forgive me as I drove spikes through his flesh. He said, I should be forgiven because I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing my job. They're saying that the trial was unjust, that the Jews made up lies about the man. I care not for the squabble of these Hebrews, but the trial was treason. Treason against Rome. Since when was healing treason, they say? Well, I'm no lawyer, but I know that no one does anything for free. This man had power, the power to heal. No one denies that, but he charged nothing. You can't trust a man that just walks around giving away life itself. Something that anyone with any sense would pay everything for. No, this guy had a plan. He wasn't trying to get rich. He was trying to build something what money couldn't buy. An army, a kingdom. I've been a soldier long enough to know that to command men that owe you their very lives and no longer fear the death is a powerful thing indeed. Yes, this man meant to build an army, to build up against the Hebrews and rise up against Rome. They asked me, how can I live with myself, but I did my duty. This Jesus was a great man, yes. He healed many that I've seen with my very own eyes. But like Caesar before him, he died for his ambition. No man may plot insurrection and not suffer the consequences. So, great healer, can you heal yourself? A feat like that might make me pick up my sword and shield and follow you myself.
I protect the Republic, and death is my trade. I've guarded the lives of kings, princes, merchants, even the emperor himself once. So how do I get assigned to guard a dead man? I know how. Because they think I had love for this Jesus. My unit was assigned to Pilate's court when Jesus was brought before him. Pilate could find no fault in the healer, but still he ordered our soldiers to whip him. It should have been my duty, but I sent another. That did not go unnoticed. But that wasn't love. I have no love for this Jesus. But I know a coward when I see one. What Pilate did was not the law. He merely saw which way the wind blew. The Jews turned on one of their own, and now they needed him. The blood would be on my hands, and Pilate, the conquering hero, would pretend yet another rebellion? No, thank you. Then we marched him to Calvary. Make no mistake, I have plenty of stomach for the stench of death. I've seen the look in a man's eye when he realizes that death has come for him, the mightiest and most merciless. They all eventually beg for even the smallest sympathy. But this man said not a word. Some of the Jews called him their king. He and his ragged band. Death comes to my workplace every day. That man, he died like a king. Head high, no fear in his eyes, not so much as a whimper escaped his lips. So when his broken body fell and could go no more, I grabbed someone that looked like one of his followers. Those cowards had all scattered, but I caught glimpses of them in the crowd. I made one of them carry Jesus' cross. I saw the looks from the other soldiers. I heard the whispers. That was not mercy. That was not love. It was respect. The healer died a death poets write songs about. That warriors, that princes and kings and warriors wish they could taste. And we would have been there all day. So now the Jews think his followers will steal his body, as if someone else might walk around in his skin, or a mysterious missing body might convince others that the healer still lives? No, death is my trade, and no man escapes its grip, just like no man escapes my watch when I stand watch over a dead man.